It's Pass the Mic. I'm Annamarie MacLeod with Prospective Theatre, formerly Arabian Shakes, and we're taking a look back through our 7-year catalog to celebrate our minority artists. We think you should know them and their work. So this week we're passing the mic to... It's Livia Gomes Demarchi! Yay! We're so glad you're here.
Thank you.
Now, real quick before we start, would you tell us where you're joining us from?
Yes, so clearly I'm in Salvador, Bahia, Brazil. As you can see by the beautiful architecture behind me. No, I'm kidding. I'm not. It's just a background. I'm talking to you from Coast Miwok and Rancheria land, which is Novato, California.
Wonderful. Thank you so much for taking the time.
Mm-hmm.
So you were with us during Twelfth Night.
Yes.
Which was, I saw, very funny, very popular, very successful. We were incredibly proud of that, and your work was amazing.
Thank
and
you.
You played 2 very different characters.
I did, yeah.
What was that like? That's not usually a doubling that happens in that show.
No, not at all. I mean, it was really cool. I was a little intimidated when I heard that was the doubling. It was Mariah and Olivia, which is, serving lady and like the lady of the house. It's just the 2 opposites there. But we were doing a comedian inspired show, so I thought, this would be really fun to change the physicality of these 2 women. And it was so fun. And oh my God, the cast was so talented. And I can't even believe that we got through it because we were cracking up constantly in rehearsal. It was just ridiculous.
Yeah, and it's fun to have permission to be funny.
Oh my gosh, totally. And I love too that, in Shakespeare, we don't get to do this type of thing of getting like 6 actors to play all the roles in a full-length play. Usually it's like an abridged version or whatever. So it was really cool to go in and out and really explore the play in multiple ways and with the physicality.
Do you think that it made you more, let's see, like when I do a play, if you got your track and you learn your track, do you think you have a more full appreciation of that show? Like you had to learn that show more, I think, than normal.
My gosh. Yeah, no, totally. Because you needed to know, I actually didn't have that many costume changes because I was only playing 2 people. There were actors in the show that were playing like 3 to 4 people, and they had crazy costume changes. Like Jen LeBlanc had to put on a mustache, take off a mustache, put on a ruff, and she had like these handkerchiefs that she was stuffing in the ruff, and then it was crazy. But so I had an easier time for sure out of everybody to keep track of everything. But I was also backstage helping people, get in and out of costumes. We had like 30 seconds sometimes to completely change an actor, and I'm like,
you never had like downtime to like, what's happening next?
No, barely any downtime. But I love that. It's like let's go. It was a really wild ride.
Well, if you like to work that way, that's definitely.
I mean, it did Midsummer like that.
Sure. Yeah. No, and that's the way the company tends to work with these short rehearsal periods, and then.
Oh, I forgot about the short rehearsal period.
Oh, did you?
Thank you for reminding me. That was crazy.
Yeah, we usually do 3 weeks part-time, which is a lot to ask an actor to do, especially to learn multiple roles in that very short amount of time. So that's very impressive.
Oh, I forgot about that. Now it's bringing back those memories of terror. Yeah, that's true. Wow. Yeah. But we did it. We got through it,
Do you have a moment or one particular memory that is your little treasure from that experience?
Oh my gosh. There were so many, but I think rehearsing the scene when Malvolio confronts Olivia, or like is trying to seduce Olivia, and the way we did it was, Amelia Adams is fucking awesome. Sorry, I used expletives. Is that allowed?
Yeah, bring it.
Oh, okay, great. Because, oh my gosh, it's probably going to come out a lot. But we were rehearsing the scene, and we had one set piece, which was kind of like a stair piece that was on wheels. And, we moved it, we shifted it. And I'm wearing like this poofy skirt. And here comes Amelia with her, cross-gartered yellow stockings. And then I don't know, we were just playing around, going up and down the stairs, and like, him trying to catch me. And then all of a sudden, he started throwing me air kisses, and then I was like dodging the kisses. And then like she hooked, she like mimed hooking my foot, and then like my foot was hooked. So we started playing with crazy shit, like mime stuff. And I didn't know anything about it really. And her being a professional clown and really versed in that art form was really helpful for me. And I don't know how we got through that rehearsal, because it was so, I had to laugh like every 2 minutes, like laugh, cry on the floor. It was that funny.
Fantastic.
I love that.
If we're not making ourselves laugh.
I know. What are we doing, right? Totally.
So we as a company recently, and this has been in the works for a while, but we've wanted to change the name as we've sort of grown, and so we're now Prospective Theater Company. So we're not purely focused on a Middle Eastern vibe. And did you have any thoughts when you heard, or what is that? How does that land on you?
I really like that change happened, especially as I noticed over the years, like the company was like veering a little bit farther and farther away from that original concept. And I love that by changing the name too, you're kind of freeing the company from doing Shakespeare every year. And as much as I love Shakespeare, I'm not sure if this is the time that we should be focusing on a old white dude and his voice. So I think it's wonderful to keep it open to just a variety of perspectives. And I'm not going to use the word diversity, because I feel like that's been tokenized, but really like that we need more voices. And I love the work at Perspective. Like I love the way people work and help each other. And I think this is going to, encompass a lot more people and a lot more voices. And that's exciting to me.
Good. Well, that's definitely the impetus for it, the goal of it. Absolutely. Have you had any favorite projects since then?
Ooh, that was such a highlight though. That project was so great. I loved it so much, working with all those actors. Since then, let me see, what have I done? Oh my gosh, my last project before the shit show started, Ghost of Bogota. I did it at Alter Theater. It's written by the fabulous Diana Burbano. She is just an amazing playwright. It's a story about 3 Colombian American siblings, and they go back to Bogota to bury their grandfather, but like the ghosts are not, they're refusing to stay dead. Let's just put it that way. So it's like, and it had humor, it had childhood trauma, and it had this deeply Latinx story that was very interesting. And the women were complicated and flawed, and not at all likable at first, quote unquote. They didn't have to be. They were just living their truth. And I think that was so exciting to do. And it was like in a tiny space again. I love small, intimate spaces for performances, and we had that experience too, and it was amazing. I love that play, so I hope to see it somewhere else soon.
Definitely, that sounds really wonderful. Does she have a catalog of other work that I should
Yes. Yes, she's on Playwrights Exchange. I believe that's the website. I think all her work is there for people to read, but her stuff is really good. We just did a reading of her play called Sapiens, which is sort of the intersection of Latinidad with autism. And the characters that she writes are very, out of the box for what you see in Latinx works, because Latinx in itself is such a complex, incredibly diverse community. It's not just, we're like all colors are the rainbow. We come from many different countries. We speak many different languages. And it's like really cool to see works that are about being Latinx, but also, not specifically about Latinidad. So I think she does that really well. experience. I love her work.
It sounds great. I feel like most of the plays that I see, it's like, oh, this is a Latinx play, or this is an autism play, you know?
Yeah.
And when I
Yeah.
get that intersectionality, the first time I felt this was reading Beloved, when I was
Oh.
like, oh, this is definitely a Black experience, but this is a human story, and
Yeah.
that like blew my mind. So I
Yeah.
really appreciate, like, you are this and you're this, and
Yeah.
putting that in art. I think it, rather than narrowing it down, I think it opens it up.
Yeah. Yeah, and I think it, we tend to have an idea of like what Latinx stories should look like or should be about,
Mm-hmm.
right?
Mm-hmm.
Because of the news, and there's a lot of trauma involved in that, and I appreciate that those plays are being done, but I also think we need to look at just like there's so many Latinx playwrights writing about all kinds of experiences, right? So it doesn't always have to be just that type of experience. Like
The
as
same traumatic story that, yeah,
yeah, like yeah, totally. We can we can we have a lot to say, and I think just having the opportunity to have a lot of stories
yeah,
is really what we need and
yeah.
deserve. So
Did the playwright grow up in the Bay Area, or was she here during part of her
you
life?
know, she that is a good question. She's in LA. She's based off of LA. She's been there, I think, most of her career. I'm not sure if she grew up in the Bay Area. I should know this.
It's okay. The only reason I ask is because her brother directed me in a voiceover.
Oh, really?
He's local. Donald is local. So I was like, oh, I actually
Oh,
wonder if she's a Bay Area. No idea. Just
she's
put that out
always
there.
here, though. Yeah,
Yeah,
she's always here. How cool! Small world.
I
I,
know. And because he was so proud of her in that play. Like, he was so excited about it. Like, it was so cute. I loved it. Um,
yeah,
let's see.
I got to
Oh,
meet him too.
oh, yeah, he's a nice guy. Yeah,
He's a
he's a
really
gentleman.
nice guy, and the play is about her and her siblings. So it was really cool because the actor playing Donald's
Yeah.
character kind of reminded me of him, and I was like, oh, I can see, like, you know um I can see why this actor got chosen, and it was so cool to see the two of them together. I was like, oh, and of course I played Diana, and I was like, oh, responsibility.
Was that a huge? Wow, that would have been scary for me. Was she in the room with the rehearsals?
Oh, she was doing. We did like 2 weeks of workshops with her. 2 weeks or 1 week. I don't remember exactly. But she's just so generous, and she was like, "Don't try to. It's you. You own the character. You're the actor portraying her. She wasn't interested in trying to impose anything on us at all. She was very free and open. Oh my God, such a joy to work with her. Such a collaborative experience.
That's wonderful.
Yeah. Oh yeah. It's great.
So now, what are you looking forward to in the future?
The death of white supremacy. I
Me
mean,
too.
right? And that,
Not helping anybody.
right? Just that tiny thing that is gonna probably take so long for us to figure out as a society and as a species, of humans. But yeah, because that would allow theater to evolve with it. And I think I'm looking forward to seeing what theater will look like after all of this, because I feel like a lot of the things are being burnt to the ground, and they should be burned to the ground. And I know it's complicated, and there's a lot of logistics that I'm a little bit scared about, because it was already hard before, but I think it gives us an opportunity to really work ourselves out of a crisis in a much more interesting, unique, and needed way. So I'm really looking forward to what the Phoenix will look
Ooh, I
like.
love the way
Phoenix of
that sounds.
theater.
That's wonderful.
Yeah.
Um, how do you ideally want to be cast? What do you want to
Ooh,
play?
I want to play everything that it's appropriate, obviously, for me to play. I would love to work in a Brazilian play, just personally, because, you know, um, again, the same thing about Latinidad and the fact that it's so complex and there's so many different cultures and languages and backgrounds. Like, I would love to see more indigenous plays with indigenous languages. I would love to see something that is Brazilian, that I can actually speak my language too, in it. And yeah, I would love that. And I'm like, how do we support those playwrights so they can, because I know they're out there, obviously, and how can we support them so their work can be produced and done, so then I can be like, I'm here, I've been here. I've been here all this time. So
Um, can
yeah.
you teach me, like, what is there a difference between like Brazilian theater and like like European style Western theater? Like, what would you categorize as?
Um, I mean, Brazil's a colonized country, just like everywhere else in the Americas. We inherited a lot of the European sensibilities of theater. But Brazil, I mean, Brazil has its own culture. Like, we have, there's a lot of indigenous folklore that's beautiful. Our Afro-Brazilian culture is also huge and vibrant and magical and musical and spiritual. So there's a lot of different expressions that are uniquely Brazilian because of the way we were colonized and how our language kind of mashed together the indigenous languages and the African dialects and everything like that. And that is completely different from Portugal, like, yeah, totally. So it's hard to say. I mean, obviously we conform to the Western, you know,
Sure,
um,
let's get
theater
dressed up and look at
traditions.
people. Yeah,
Yeah, yeah, yeah. But there's also more, you know, and it's
more
different.
that
It's
can
a
be
huge
created.
country, and there's so many different ways. But it's a musical, spiritual, magical place, just overall. I
So it
think that's
sounds
how.
it sounds untapped to me. It sounds like there's a lot of potential for some really beautiful stories that could.
Oh yeah, and people are already doing it in Brazil. I mean, there's beautiful theater being done there, like crazy political theater. Like, São Paulo, where I'm from, like there's a lot of that happening, and it's free. It's like accessible, or it was before,
Yeah,
all of this
sure, sure.
happened.
That
And
sounds like something that we could pick up and take and move forward, because I would love to see free
for
political
sure.
theater, more of it.
Yes, yes. And I'm like, how do we bring some of that over here? Right? Because, like, if you think about Brazilian, specifically Brazilian, and this can be true for so many other countries in Latin America. I'm just saying mine because that's my personal background. But like, there is zero really representation in theater, barely any in Hollywood. It's just not something that people really think about. And when you say Brazil, people go think, oh, butts, carnaval, and the beach.
Right, right.
Which is not untrue, but it's a little bit like it's just there's just not a lot, of understanding or crossover yet.
Right.
So
We're not
I
getting a real rounded view of the culture at all,
no,
even though we're
no.
neighbors. And
Well, it's down there a little bit,
it's
but
down there relative to
we're
Australia.
everywhere. Like, Brazilian people are everywhere. It's kind of creepy. We're like, I don't know, 5 Brazilians in the space. How did that happen? So yeah.
It's adorable.
we're
And
we're invading
good.
the yeah.
How can
Mhm.
our audiences, who are hopefully watching all of these, help artists and theater right now?
Ooh, I think our audiences are starting, hopefully, to become more aware of the things that are sort of maybe the failings of theater and like the lack of stories being told. I think it's quite apparent now that that's an issue. I think audiences can also demand to see more. I think they can be like, wait, this season is a bunch of white playwrights, all male cast. Like, why is this relevant at this time? I think audience members can engage themselves in that way. Um, Definitely throw your money at theater, even if it's Zoom theater. Just helping keep it alive, especially if you have the means to do it. I think, um, I don't know, like, find an artist you like and go give them a Venmo donation. I don't know,
Agreed.
um, yeah, and I think it's all a community, and I mean, I miss an audience so much. Like, I miss that energy and that exchange of energy and those moments with them. And I feel like they're really an intrinsic part of what we do, and they can be as involved as like, they can come in and demand more and all that. I don't know. An idea.
It's a great idea. I think.
Hmm.
Yeah, let's hold the audiences to asking for a higher standard. That means connecting to artistic directors and other people and saying, I would rather see.
Yeah.
Yeah,
Hmm.
yeah, I think so. Yeah.
Hmm.
Uh, what would you and what would you more specifically, what would you like to see more of from Perspective or Bay Area in general? What's
Hmm.
important for you to see?
I'm really excited, I have to say, about Marisela's play coming up, because
Uh-huh.
Marisela
Okay.
is another. Marisela Trevino Horta is one of my favorite Latinx playwrights as well. She's amazing. She's dope. So that I'm excited about that. I'm excited that John R. Lewis is directing it. I'm excited about all of that. So yes, like that is already giving me life. Um, what I would like to see more of is just what I said, like just more voices and more voices in leadership. We need that. It can't just be the one show a year that you're going to hire BIPOC or whatever. It has to be like a change within as well, like who are calling the shots right now. We need to see a little bit of a shift there. And I want to see accountability as
Hmm.
well from companies who have done some damage, and the whole living document, I give huge props to Eli, who put it together, and all the brave voices who wrote about their experiences. I'm really interested in how a few of the companies are going to work towards improving, you know, and really holding themselves accountable for these, aggressions. Some micro, some not at all. you know,
Yeah.
I'm really looking forward to that as well.
Yeah. Yeah. I mean, I think we white theater, it needs to take a good hard look at themselves. And if we can't adapt at this point, then I think we have to leave it in the dust
Yeah.
because it's not serving our community and it's not
Right.
serving the purpose of theater anymore.
Yeah, absolutely,
Yeah.
absolutely. And I love the mic situation, right? It's like throw the mic over to someone else,
You
and
talk for a minute. Ah.
yeah.
So what's your next project? How can we watch it? How can we support it? How can we get involved?
Oh, I'm not sure if I'm able to talk too much about it yet, but depending on when this airs, I will say something, and maybe my next project is called Corazon of a Latina, and it's with Playground in association with Latinx Mafia. Latinx Mafia is the sort of artistic advocacy group that was started during COVID times with a bunch of dope Latinx artists in the Bay Area, where we got together. Originally it started with, oh, let's support each other, and we went to plays, and then we started doing Zoom readings, and then it became like, wow, our community needs to do some work. Our community needs to do anti-blackness work. Our community needs to do some decolonizing work. How do we do that? So that became very apparent that there's deep, deep, deep work to be done. And how do we do that? And how do we, as artists, do that together while supporting each other and everything like that? So then Latinx Mafia came out of that, to help us sort of address some of these issues. And we are very much in agreement with the what um, document and the living document, and trying to see and trying to fight against some of the misconceptions around casting within the Latinx community and all of that. So anyway, so that's Latinx Mafia sort of in a nutshell. But Corazon of a Latina is going to be an evening of all female identified Latinx artists performing monologues, either written by themselves or about sort of their specific um, experiences with Latinidad or whatever, experience they want to talk about. So that's what that is. And it's going to be in December. On Zoom, obviously. But that's my next project, and it's really exciting
That's
because
wonderful. That's
there's
and
some.
I have to appreciate the Zoom theater in that it is
Mhm.
accessible,
Yes, so accessible.
right? I mean,
Hmm.
hopefully you have people from around the world tuning in. I mean, I
My
got small kids, but I can be there.
Yeah, right. You can mute. I mean, you're not. Nobody can hear you, right? So they
Right,
can
doesn't
see.
matter.
Yeah.
They can scream in the background. I can have my wine. We can watch. It'll be great.
Oh, totally. Can I just say how I love that I can drink my wine, watch a Zoom play. Yes,
It's
wine has become a
these are
very dear
these are the
friend.
little nuggets that we need to take into the future of like
Yeah.
accessibility with theater and
Please, like I know, like we are allowed to bring wine in most theaters now, but still, like just being able to have the
put
bottle
my own
there.
bottle of the good stuff.
And like just the bottles, but yeah, yeah, no, it's great. My family from Brazil will be watching, and that's the sad part about like living in another country. And my whole family is in Brazil. I don't have anybody here directly related to me, so they never get to see me do anything on
Right.
stage. I think my mom saw me in one play. My dad has never seen me. My brother saw me in one play, and yeah, my sister hasn't seen me. My grandma has never seen me, so it's kind of sad.
But this will
But
be really special that they can
yeah,
share in this.
they can see it. Yeah. Hmm.
Aw, I love it.
Hmm.
What's your favorite breakfast?
Ooh. Okay. So I have to say a Brazilian breakfast, which I don't eat meat anymore. So before when I ate meat, it was like ham and cheese and like French bread, but like super fresh. Because in Brazil we have these padarias that you go and you buy these like fresh bread really easily, and it's like we love bread, we love it, anything with like hella gluten, and fruit. Um, a huge juicy Brazilian avocado, which is slightly sweet, and
Mm.
we eat like with honey or sugar. Yeah, we eat it as like a fruit. And like guavas. Yes. And like really good Brazilian coffee.
Mm, sounds good.
Hmm.
I got Cafe Brazil down here in Santa Cruz, but I think,
Oh.
it's as close as I can get right now.
Oh my God. Santa Cruz has like a lot of Brazilians, I think. There's a huge Brazilian community, I think. So
It's delicious. It's one of my favorites. So I can't imagine like going to the actual place would be even better.
so good. So good.
Someday when
I'm
we can travel again. What's your favorite sound?
Oh, my favorite sound. That's hard.
I know.
I knew this.
Or maybe a sound that you appreciate, but we don't have to go so far as favorite.
I love the sound of my family in Brazil when they're together, and
Mm.
like the little, and like how loud we are when we talk to each other, and how musical we all sound. It's just like, so, because I don't get that very often, because I'm here most of the time, and then I don't go as often as I want to. But when I hear them all together, especially my grandma who's 95, um, when they're all together, being happy, celebrating life, or just being together, even if people are arguing. Yeah, I love that sound.
If on days when you feel your absolute best,
Hmm.
what song is playing in your head?
Ooh, gosh, I miss those questions in the because I'm like, what song is playing in my head? God, I have so many songs. It's probably something with a hella percussion in it, because I love drums and I love percussion instruments. So something like that will be playing. Something I
Sounds
can
good.
I can shake my butt to,
Something
probably.
that gets down deep.
Hmm. Yeah, so yeah, percussions, because it's like a heartbeat. It's like, I don't know. Yeah.
Yeah. Um, if you weren't an actor, would you what would your profession be, or what would your focus be?
Ooh, interesting question. I really think I'm a storyteller, just through and through. So whether it's embodied storytelling, or whether it's like, conversation, and I'm like, blah, 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 and I like to be super lively. Maybe, I write on occasion. Maybe I would be a writer. Like I just go into writing novels or something. I don't know. Or a psychologist.
Ooh.
Yeah, or a full-time astrologer.
Ooh.
Yeah, because I do astrology as a hobby right now and I love it. And it's like, but maybe I just go down that career path. I'm gonna go with astrologer.
I think it's great. And I
Hmm.
love how all of your answers are still either storytelling or human nature. That you're
Because
like,
that's right. That's acting. That's theater. It's like so all encompassing of all the things I love. You know.
after you win your Tony and or
Mhm.
Oscar, and you've got money and offers being thrown at you, what will you do?
Oh my God, I'm gonna throw all my money into um, all the Latinx voices that need money. I'll just be like, what project do you have? Here's money. Let's get those people out. And like, yeah, I'll just, and it doesn't have to stay within my community too. It can just, extend to other communities as well. But definitely I would spend a lot of time passing the mic and
Lifting
using
up,
this.
reaching out.
Yeah, absolutely. Yeah. Hmm.
Wonderful. And now, is there a costume you've loved beyond all others? Do you have a
Ooh.
picture? And can I see it?
Well, I do. I have a video.
Okay,
Show you.
good.
It's not. I don't know. I have such a hard time with like my favorite whatever. I'm an Aquarius. We're like we change our minds. It's fine.
Flattery.
I'm Aquarius with Gemini rising, so I'm all. So I'm like I don't like to say this is my favorite, but I loved. I mean, it was a piece of art. You know, the costume I wore for Midsummer Night's Dream with SF Shakes.
Uh-huh.
As Titania. It was this gorgeous dress that had real mushrooms attached to it and real like moss and everything. The thing weighed like 30 pounds and it was really hard to act in and like climb mushrooms and set pieces wearing it. But like I looked awesome. So that was cool. So it was actually a love and hate relationship because I was like, I wish I could move. And like fucking Oberon is doing parkour. And I'm like, I can't even like get up without like three people holding me. But it was the most stunning. Uh, I mean, that thing belongs on a runway. It's so gorgeous. And I'm going to give you the credit to the fabulous costume designer. Yes, her name will be in the video.
Okay. I'll make sure she gets a shout out for sure.
Yeah.
I saw that show.
Mm.
And yeah, you guys were having to climb up layers and climb on giant mushrooms. And I was so inspired by that dress. I was like, they put those bracket fungi on
Yeah.
her.
Yeah. Yeah.
I went and tried to copy that because I thought it was so
Oh.
incredible. What a beautiful, like, not just a pretty sparkly Titania, but like I climbed out of the earth and now it's part of me. And I just, that was a great costume. I have seen, I can't wait to share it with everybody else.
Yay. I have a slow motion video of that dress because it deserved it.
Ooh.
Yeah,
Well, I'm looking forward to that because I was like way back here, with my monox.
Oh yeah, no, it was amazing. I mean, it was so heavy though.
Thank you so much for taking the time. I feel like I've learned so much about art and human nature and the future of the world, and I feel so inspired.
Oh, thank you. You're flattering me too much. No, no, no.
Not at all. Not
My
at all.
perspective on things.
Completely deserved. And I hope I get to work with you someday.
Same.
That would
Thank
be fun.
you.
Thanks. Bye.
Did I throw this back to you?
Oh yeah, you can toss it back to me.
Okay.
Oh, there we go.
You got it. You got it.